now he's been recently going on these different interviews, and everyone's kind of wondering like, why the hell isn't this guy in jail? Why hasn't he been arrested yet? And it feeds very well into this sort of conspiracy theory that people have been proposing, that largely comes from like a pretty right-wing view most of the time, that he has sort of been in this kind of cabal of different elites with Gary, in cahoots with Gary Gensler and like these various other actors that are at the top of the Democratic Party. He also had Bill Clinton and Tony Blair at like this big FTX conference before. So there's a lot of different like little tidbits about him that when you like search into it, it's like it's easy to kind of like continue going towards that conspiratorial path. But I think a more reasonable thing to sort of get from all this is that he was just playing the game in a way that was like to his own benefit. It wasn't like he used clearly the effective altruism thing to sort of justify a lot of the things in order to like give legitimacy to FTX. He was definitely like, saying all the right things that he could say in order to get the right type of press and the right type of treatment from different regulatory authorities.
Yeah, I think it's like I think that the story to me definitely feels like a society and a point in time where there is, there seems to be a lack of regulation around centralized crypto custodians that obviously needs to be fixed immediately. And I think that is something that I think a lot of the crypto kind of industry is on board with. And I think that it sort of becomes a bit of like the industry is trying to kind of make a distinction between decentralized and centralized, and DeFi and CeFi. And I think that there definitely is a sense in which without, with some regulatory clarity in the United States, some of what happened over the last year may not have happened. There's reasons, why FTX went overseas and was able to kind of both create this contraption of FTT and skirt certain kind of like derivatives laws by offering trading offshore, as well as just kind of like almost a combination of like unclear regulations and then obviously under regulating, like where is the kind of Glass-Steagall for crypto. But yeah, I think it's very clear that it is like to me a system failure, like a product of the system, like as it currently stands, in ways that maybe also reflect other industries and other types of similar corruption. The sort of personalized conspiracy narrative that often happens in our I think the problem sometimes the problem with that is there are real conspiracies in the world, but oftentimes and most of the time it's not as exciting as that.
Right. Yeah, I think yeah, you have where people say that anti-Semitism is the fool, or anti-Semitism is a socialism for the fools, or something like that. Or it's like very easy to fall into these kind of weird traps if you are not like more engaged and more educated about these things. And I think the thing from FTX, I think there's so many other, like as if it is only a crypto thing, which is kind of like also a kind of annoying response that I've seen. It's sort of like, you have, of course, besides FTX, you've had other crypto stuff like Mt. Gox, like BitConnect, like OneCoin. But then you also have like, you had Enron, you had the Bernie Madoff stuff, you had Lehman Brothers, you've had Stanford. So a lot of these things, to me, it feels more like an issue of capitalism, of financial capitalism, and sort of like the system's inability to regulate itself in a way that is like able to fulfill the needs of people.
Yeah, it sort of just rewards narcissism, and I think what we're seeing here probably is just like a sort of a view of narcissism enabled and kind of at a big scale by a society that is that's what's rewarded.